It's just different.
Hopeless at one point and then having an opportunity to make you go harder, make you get in that booth and just really express that hopelessness. Like, man, y'all don't understand. This is like, you know what I mean? You dig from a different place. That bottom of your soul, that pit, homie, where you felt like the shit was, you know what I'm saying? You always wanted, but it looked like it was just not gonna happen.
Shit, in your mind it ain't gonna happen, shit, it probably won't. I took some risks, some people probably won't. That's how we're grateful for the fruits of all my labor. Hard to live and know you sick, I'd rather be with my creator, thinking time's up.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Foreign Side Podcast. This is your host, Mike Obi.
And it's your boy, London Ogletree, back for some more gems. What's up, my boy?
Not a thing, man. Another day, another week, another opportunity to drop gems to the culture. What's going on to you?
Nothing much. I've been happy this week, so it's been a good week.
You got that new glow, man. You look like a new man. Like
I don't know what it is, man. I got something with me because I was like, I'm usually kind of mad at least 3 days out of the week. I've been happy off all week, so it's gonna be a good episode. So y'all call me on a really good day.
Excellent. Well, before we get into the content, obviously, let's always show appreciation and our gratitude for all of our fans and all the people who continue to rock with us. We appreciate y'all engaging with us on social media, in person, talking about how you guys rock with us, how you guys like the message, how you guys like the conversation, all of that. We appreciate it and continue to show your support by dropping the 5-star like, subscribing, and spreading the message on all your social media platforms and all your listening platforms. All right, now we're gonna get into some real talk. You know, last week we got away from dating stuff, and we're gonna stay away from dating stuff and get into some real issues that are pressing in our culture these times. So, I feel like we're entering into a new era, and we're us who are becoming media figures, as far as us who have a podcast, us who have a platform now. And I look around and look at some of the other people, some of the other prominent figures, and I think we're in a new what I call the new media. And I didn't get this term. I actually got this from Draymond Green, and I absolutely agree. Where I want to start off is, first off, just the difference in mentality and what do I mean? Where's the switch coming? So, when I first started my podcast a couple years ago, one of the main things I observed was I called it the old school versus the new school mentality, where, old school meaning like the Gen X to older millennials, so like our parents to the older adults, were looking down upon people our age and younger. They were saying stuff like, y'all's generation, y'all are lazy, y'all don't want to work for nothing, you guys want everything handed to you. So I hear that and I'm like, well, let me not be rigid. Let me at least have conversations about it. So just to that point that I just talked about, what do you think about that?
I'm like a teeter-totter on this point because I'm like an old soul. So I got raised by a lot of, I guess you want to call it Gen X people, and all my people that I'm cool with are either Gen X or older millennials. So I think older millennials are going to gravitate more to the Gen X generation, because that's like you said, like LeBron James, they're close to like 40, they're in their 30s. So like they have that mentality, whereas like we're the newer school mentality. I mean, we're the newer school like generation, and then this is even getting worse. But I think we're like the last, our age at 24 and 25 are like the last age I think is going to get that little bit of that old school mentality. So for me, I agree with it, what they're saying, that we're lazy, and then we're like, we want everything the easy way. But at the same time, I don't think they have as the entrepreneurial mindset that we have as a younger age. I think we're more of, there's going to be more millionaires now than there was back then, because of we're more go-getters, and we're not trying to just take this easy way out and just settle for a desk job for the rest of our lives and go into that. So it's 50-50, but I do agree, but I also disagree.
One point I want to talk about right now that you just brought up is you feel that working a desk job is the easy way out?
It's the most strategic to have like me, I'm in corporate America and I'm on salary. Do I think it's bad? No. But there's somebody who's going to sit there and say, I don't want to sit there like I'm in sales, so I get to bounce around, but there's somebody who's an account manager who's sitting at their desk 8 hours or 10 hours a day. Granted, they're making great money, but it's also like, do you value $80,000 to $150,000 yearly worth sitting in a desk 8 to 9 hours? Me, I do, and I can tell you why I do. Is because me being the new millennials, I'm not thinking of just I'm gonna sit there and do this for 60 years. I'm thinking about, okay, let me take this 100. Say I make 150,000 a year, and then I said, let me keep stacking my money. I'm always big on saving. I've always was raised on spend half, save half, but I took it an extra thing up, save 70, spend 30. So that's how I do my whole stuff. And then I invest in stocks, mutual funds. You have retirement like Roth IRAs, you have 401k. But that's what you get from being in corporate America is the benefits. And that's when it starts equaling out. You get stock options, you get all these different things. So to me, I don't think it's a waste, but it's to me, you will be a fool to try to do that for 60 years. I think that's what our millennials now thrive really well. We're trying to get into rental properties, Airbnbs. We're trying to have multiple streams of income, which a lot of people back then would have sat there and worked at BP for 60 years, which is not bad. You can become a millionaire doing that off of that and benefits and 401k and retirement. But for me, I'm trying to go live life. We're trying to go travel. We're trying to go hang out with our friends. We're trying to, we're big on partying. So like us as young kids, we're trying to be young as possible. We're trying to go on boats. We're trying to have fun, travel. So to me, I don't think being at a desk job is bad. I could see myself being there for another 20 years max. But other than that, I could say I want to get out of there at the age of 40 latest. But for me, I don't think it's a waste.
Man, that boy London's on fire.
Yeah, I'm
Count,
coming.
man. God damn. But I mean, but that breakdown is perfect. It's a perfect illustration. And I think why our dynamics are a little different from the standpoint, like you said, we're kind of that bridge between older and new school, where it's like we have that old school mentality of understanding the value of still being able to work a desk job and that get into that point where you can maybe retire early because of your investments, because of your assets can happen, but it is not going to happen overnight. It's a progression, right? And I think what I see, what I observe, and you can tell me what you think is old school mentality says new school is, lazy from the standpoint that they don't understand the level of money that's available in abundance, especially because of social media, and that, they see everybody's trying to be a TikTok, everybody's trying to be an influencer, and all they see is them thinking that's the only avenue guys are going for. Well, what these kids are seeing is that there's so much money and opportunity if you go out and seize it. Now, not everybody's going to go viral. Not everybody's going to get the big following, right? And so then it's like, okay, what else is there, right? And there's that aspect of it, one. And then it's like, I just think when you have different opportunities, like social media, our parents didn't have social media. Now, it used to be my parents and our parents would complain about it. Like, we didn't have these things when we were your age. Well, we do. So because we do, our mindset is different. We see things differently. We see the world differently.
Absolutely.
So that's where it's like, I don't judge like people our age and even younger, like Gen Zs, who they grew up with social media as a part of who they were. Like, I always say we were exposed to it by the time we were teenagers. That was the MySpace, the Facebook. So we were still able to be without it, but we started to have it become part of us as we got older. Kids younger than us are growing up. They already knew what Instagram was. They already knew what Twitter, and then now TikTok. That's the main one. It's like, this is just a part of, go ahead.
You go.
It's like, it's all part of their culture. So it's not something where I can say, oh, these kids are lazy from the standpoint. That's what motivates them. That's what drives them. And then on top of that, I think, especially like I used to always talk about kids not seeing, education as valuable as maybe our parents did. And we're going to get into that later. But I think what it's coming down to is that kids used to always tell me, or people used to always tell me, like, this is only going to help us get us so wealthy. This isn't going to help us attain generational wealth. It's not going to help me be rich like I want to be, because a lot of kids are, I think, value wanting to have the yacht lifestyle, the rich kid lifestyle, the party lifestyle, like you talked about. So I think that's where we're at right now, is just getting people to understand the mindsets.
One, I don't think parents, like our parents, they understand like brand deals. Like they know all these like rich celebrities like Kobe, LeBron, Eddie Murphy, whatever. They know they can get brand deals and stuff like that, but they seen Eddie Murphy and them get rich off of doing it off television. Social media can give you those brand deals and advertising deals off of you doing it through social media. Like I will say there's so many kids that's younger than me that are about to be millionaires off of video games, off of TikTok, off of Instagram, off of walking the dog, maybe whatever. So like there's so many ways to get money. But to me, where I understand where they're coming from is they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. I kind of agree, but I don't agree at the same time because I live by this quote. There's no point in having a plan B because it distracts from plan A. I got that from Will Smith. And to me, I get that. Like, why would you put all your attention to one and two things where if you put it all into one thing, you might be successful at it. But where parents are coming at, they come from a scary world. They come from a world of like, let's do multiple things. And if whatever we get rich at, let's do that. Or if we don't, we just make a middle-aged living, which is fine. But for us, I think we're just like jump off the cliff. We gonna go get this. Like there's probably people so many times that you probably heard like, don't do this podcast, go do something else. Like it's so many things you probably heard. And it's like, it's not for somebody to see your vision. But if it blew up now, they're like, oh, and that's why you got to stay true to yourself, regardless of what your parents are. Like I told you, my parents, I took this avenue when I came out of college. I didn't have many internships. So it's like, I had to take the steps ground level to get in this place that I'm at. And then my parents were like, no, you shouldn't take this opportunity. You shouldn't take this job. But I thought that would be the best for me. And now I'm at where I'm at because my like resume is so good now. And it's to the point, like I did that for me. If I was listening to my parents on everything, I don't think I'll be where I'm at right now. So it's like, as a man or as a young woman or a young adult, as a woman, you got to sometimes go by your own decisions because our parents don't know everything because they will be millionaires. We wouldn't be talking about this. So I think you got to kind of sometimes branch off from your parents. And that's how you become a grown-up, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think what it boils down to is that, kids are more willing to take risks and they have a little bit more fearlessness, at least in terms of social media and that realm. Maybe not in career, because I think there is still people who are reluctant to try things, like especially once they get into a career field, they feel like leveling up the corporate chain maybe is a little bit less attainable. But my ability to go viral on social media is a little bit more achievable because I see more people doing it, more people my age that look like me doing it. I think that's where the mindset comes from, right? And like you said, failing isn't always got to be viewed as a bad thing. I think our parents, it's part of them trying to protect us and nurture us, but I think they would rather us take the safe route. So when you were talking about, have, multiple avenues, it's almost like having one foot in, one foot out. We would take it. It's like, you mean to tell me I shouldn't really fully invest my energy, my efforts into this? That seems like I'm really selling myself short, as opposed like, me being African, you go through this with a lot of boys and girls who want to get into athletics. They say, well, not a lot of kids get scholarships. Not a lot of kids make it to the NBA, right? And so don't get into the mindset of thinking you're going to get a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Don't really start believing that type of hype, no matter whether you get it or not. And so then it's like a lot of kids end up not going after that college athlete, dream. Some of us make it, but a lot of us don't. And then finally, I remember when I got older, like, some of my aunties and my mom were kind of admitting like we didn't see this, like us. We were first generation. We didn't know what that meant. We didn't know what that looked like, because now a lot of those kids who were able to get their parents to kind of see it and buy into it, they're making it. So it's like, you see, it just takes a little bit of belief. You know what I mean?
Do you think you're gonna buy this as a parent? Like,
what you mean?
Because I try to stay as hip as possible to like, because we're gonna turn into them same old people who say that old school stuff, that new school stuff ain't gonna work. So I try to keep my ears to the streets and always update with the times, because I don't want to be that person like, I ain't gonna work. I know back in my day that y'all would never, y'all lazy. I don't try to do that. So like my question to you is like, say your kid says, I want to be a tennis player, or I want to be an artist or something. Are you gonna push them? Are you gonna say, do what makes you happy, or are you going to try to angle them to be what you think that's going to take them to the most money?
Good question. I would say, listen, son, daughter, okay, you want to do this, how far do you want to take this? I'd want to know how far they're trying to go. Oh, I just want to do it to have fun and not it's just a hobby. Okay, cool. Have fun, give it your all, do your best. I want to go to the league. Okay. Do you understand the probability of and the work it's going to take to go to the league? Do you understand that? Well, I mean, don't just got to work hard. It's not just about that. You got to have good luck and you got to sacrifice. That's the type of parent I'm going to be. I'm going to always try to give them the game of like, listen, okay, if you want to get to this level, it's going to take these things happen and these things occurring. Luckily, my background is I played with a lot of guys who played in college, NFL, played with and against guys who were in the NFL, NBA, whatever the case may be. So I was luckily able to see it firsthand myself. And then I had a brother who played. So I had his example, his teaching, his guidance, and all that around me. So I can confidently say I know what I'm talking about. Exactly. Right. So it's like, okay, if you're going to do this, cool. I'm going to support you. I'm going to have your back. I'm always be in your corner. You know that as your father. But just understand the probability, the risk, and then also what it's going to take. And then from there, it's on now. You know what I'm saying?
And for me, is like, I didn't, like, as you know, I'm 6'4" and I have pretty good size on me. Like, and my brother's like an inch taller than me. And like, I always say, like, and there's no knock to my dad, 'cause I think he did a good job as raising us as men. But I think he could have got one of us to the league. Like, to me, it was like, to me, it's like, you didn't, I think as a father, you got to, if you know your genes is good, like I know I have good genes. So it's like, if I know I have a son and I know they're going to be tall, that's why I love LeVar Ball. So I'm like, he had one goal. He found a wife that was 5'10", and he says, we're having 3 boys in the league. I don't care what you say. Right. I don't care what they say. Like, my boys is better than Steph Curry. I don't care what y'all say. He better than Michael Jordan. Why would I not say that about my kids? To me, right. I like it. He might be crazy for it, but look at LaMelo. Lonzo played, he's good too. Lonzo's doing dang good. Just he's sometimes not healthy, but Melo is a top 5, top 6 point guards. And it's like, now LeVar is not looking crazy no more. It's like, now it's like, as a father, he supported him. So I think parents need to be more supportive. And like, I have a friend, I told you, Ryan, like you met Ryan, like he blew up and his mom was like, nah, you need to get a desk job. You need to get this. Now he doubled that on whatever for a yearly thing what he could be doing. So it's like now his mom and stepdad like believes in him. It's like at a point it's kind of like, you didn't kind of really believe in me at that point. And it's like, we love y'all, but it's like at the same time, I need you rocking me. I need you to die with me. But like if I fail, okay, now I got that degree. Now let's go back and go into corporate America. That don't work. But like, if there's something I want to really set my eyes on, I'm going hard at it. Support me, because I might really value y'all opinion so much that y'all could crush me and it could be over. So I think parents gotta be real cautious of that. And I think as a dad, and then my wife, I'll always tell her, like, we got to support them, even though we don't agree with it. We got to support them and tell them kind of how you said, the sacrifice, the luck part is what I took. Like, you want to be NFL or an NBA or something, you got to get lucky too. You can't just like, you can get skillful. Like, just know you can get injured. This can happen. Always, I want you to always be educated. I want you to have a degree, and I want you to have that, because if you fall back on that, if you fall on that basketball stuff and you get injured, you have that. So that's my input on it. They have, I think, Gen X generation has a great view, but we also have good views. And I think we all got to come together to make that right common goal, because none of us are wrong.
Yeah, there are pros and cons to everything, right? And so that's the whole thing, is just understanding and finding the balance. Last point I'll put on the whole raising kids and that aspect is just that what I've seen is that a person's mental predisposition in anything is very, very important. And so like half of being successful is believing you can be successful. If you have people all around you like uplifting, like, yo, you can do this. Now they're telling you the real in terms of like, yo, you're gonna have to sacrifice. Hey, I need more. Hey, I need you to push more. Hey, okay, you said you want to get here. You're not taking a step. That's different than saying, oh, you can't. Oh, you're not supposed to. Oh, come on. That's like what you're talking about with your friend Ryan and, all these other people who make it. It's like, it all seems crazy. It all seems like a fantasy. It all seems so out of reach until it's not. And then once it's not, it's like, oh, wait, that person could do it. Why couldn't I do it? It's like, well, you didn't believe in yourself. You didn't see it through. You didn't have the delayed gratification. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it all boils down to for me. God damn. Hey man,
How you do this fiction right
hell of
there?
a good start, man. This is
That's how you come. I told you I was excited about this.
me too,
Come.
man. I love this stuff. All right, next thing is sticking with college athletics, NIL. So recently, the NCAA has basically passed the NIL initiative. It's this law that enables college athletes of all sports, all genders, to be able to pay profit off of their name, image, and likeness. So me and you both kind of have some background in college sports and just understanding it. What has been your take and your opinion on this new initiative?
And this is goes back to that Gen X and millennials. Gen X people got to thank us millennials because, like Draymond Green said, we're not the athletes anymore to just shut up and dribble. We're going to speak on what we should get, what we should have, and this is what it goes from. Even like I say with race, like Black culture, like I think more of us now are like Malcolm X. We about to sit here, and you ain't about to sit here and say something to us without us smacking you. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you, us people and us millennials, we gonna you gotta just hurt us. But like back in the day, they older people would have turned a cheek and said, "Okay, that's fine. We're gonna be the big." Nah, it's just like sports. It's like we think we just like Patrick Mahomes. If he was playing at Texas Tech back then, when if that passed, he would have already been a millionaire. But I do think we should get paid for that, for everything in athletics. But at the same time, I do think it can hurt us at the same time, because when you get paid before you make it pro, you might not have the same drive as you did when you're before you get there. And that might, like the Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams is already a millionaire because of his skills and how he markets things. Granted, he should get paid that, but I just hope that us young people can keep that drive while we're still getting that money. But other than that, I think we should be getting paid.
No, I mean, there's some truth to that, and I agree with you. So, like, Michael Jordan, I remember he said it in an interview with Oprah, right? The reason why the NBA had the surge that it did, and why people like him, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, why they were successful, why the league was so, admired at the time, was because they earned what they got, which they did from the standpoint. They came in on rookie scale deals. They didn't make a whole lot. And then through their play on the court, through their success, they were then able to get the big contracts. And so then his whole point was, if you get paid so easy up front, you're not going to work as hard on the back end. And that is true. And I agree with that.
That's very true.
Yeah. And so then you see that with like a lot of kids in the NBA, and even with this name, image, and likeness stuff. Obviously, they're the bad apples that they get paid and they get fat. I always call it, it's hard to work hard whenever you're full. But when you're hungry, you're going to starve and you're going to work hard. You're going to bust your ass because you're trying to get to that next meal. You're trying to get to that payday. Once they give you that bread, you full. You don't want to eat as, you know what I'm saying?
But
so
it's like your mama could still be living on nothing. Your grandma might not have nothing, but if you could feed them and you in high school, still shoot, we good now. Right. But it's like there's some people who might still have that Michael Jordan mentality. Still, like there's somebody might be like Kobe Bryant or something. Like there is somebody I can think of, but he's not really doing as good as I thought he would be. Like Amani Bates. That's like one high school kid. I was like, this dude got dog in him to the point like he don't care if you get paid, this and this. He gonna still go for your neck. Like there are some people, but I think now we're at a point where we care so much more about clout than
that is true
in the process. It might lose that drive, and I hope it don't, but it might.
And see, for me, like one point I want to touch on is like I hear a lot of coaches saying, "Oh, this is gonna be bad, or it's only gonna cause more harm than good because now these kids are going to get too enabled and they're going to be harder to coach." I'm like, listen, what that then tells me is that you have to do a better job at recruiting and vetting these guys and really understanding what's in their mindset, what drives them. Like for me, if I was running a program, if I was a coach, I would have almost like counselors going out and recruiting them. I'm like, I want you to understand, like, who am I really getting? What is motivating this guy to come play for me? What is his motivation? Is it to feed his family, or is it for the clout? Is it because, like, would this kid still want to play this sport if he wasn't getting paid? Does he still have that same level of drive, that same level of obsession, a Kobe obsession, a Michael obsession? It's hard to see that when a guy's getting paid, right? So like, that's the type of stuff I would ask. I'm like, what drives you? What motivates you? What is it really that eats away at you? What is your background? What is your, your family background? All those things. It's like, You just have to do a little bit more digging and a little bit more details. You know what I'm saying? Instead of only looking at, can this kid run fast and shoot a ball and throw, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
like,
my
what's
thing.
his heart? Like, what's his drive? Like, I'll be a hell of a coach. Like, it would be crazy. Like, I'll get the most out of my players because, like, me, I'll try to be fit and youthful. And like youthful, like I'll try to be like, get out there on the field or play basketball with them. And like, if y'all really think y'all can beat me, I'll come out there and play with y'all. But like, you got to learn personality wise. And if you're not playing with heart or nothing, I'll pull you out. You just won't play.
No, you know, that's real shit. Honestly, I had coaches like that, like my coach Kovo, who I've had on the podcast before. Like, that was one of my favorite coaches I ever had. And I remember him, and when we were playing. When we were playing, I remember one of the things that like was a level of accountability, or was a fact of accountability for us, is like we had coaches that would actually run with us, would run our gas with us, they would lift during the session with us. So it's like we can't say, oh man, we don't want to do this today, because like our coaches are doing it with us, right? So it was that level of accountability like you're talking about. If these guys who are supposed to be in the 30s and 40s and supposedly old, man, are out here doing it with us, then there's no excuse for us not to. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, I agree with you.
Facts.
Now on the NIL though, on this whole, now I remember even being in high school before this was even a thing. I remember one of the debates we used to have in like English class and social studies and all this other stuff is this aspect of, well, there's amateurism in college sports, so therefore you're not supposed to be paid, you're not supposed to be paying these athletes. And then there was the whole, well, we give them a scholarship, right? The scholarship is your compensation. What do you say to those points and to those claims of people who still say that, or still have that mentality of they shouldn't be paid?
I'm like, well, shoot, at that point, if you go by the difference of how much they bring in, I'm like, sure, I'll pay for my college at that point. Like, if you give me what the heck I'm making off my jersey sales or stuff like that, or like percentages of tickets and stuff, like I will pay for my 4 years easily. And then you can, I'll have the rest. Like, and on top of it, y'all doing it already illegally. So like, I might as well just pay them anyways.
Oh, damn it. Boy, London already said it. God damn.
Like, you might as well just pay the people legally. Like, don't even argue if y'all giving these people millions. You know how many athletes came out talking about that I got millions of dollars?
The only thing I'm gonna say though to that, why? Because in theory, that would have sounded like you don't get the scholarship, but you could pay your tuition if you were able to benefit off your name, image, and likeness. The only reason why I say that wouldn't work is because not everybody gets paid the same amount.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in football, like football players won't get this, like they'll get paid substantially more than, let's say, somebody plays tennis or baseball. And then if you even look at the positions on the football field or on a football team, a quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back can get paid way more than an O lineman, a safety, you know, those type of players. So it's like the distribution is a little bit different. But my thing is that, one, okay, we live in America and we talk about capitalism is the greatest thing ever. Well, why is it that now, because kids are getting in, oh, now all of a sudden, no, wait, we don't want this here, we don't want this implemented there? It's like, okay, what are we really saying? Is it that capitalism is only good whenever it benefits a certain person? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing on it. And then as far as like the financial literacy piece, because this is the thing that I really want it all to boil down to. If we're so concerned about these kids being irresponsible with the money, I've heard that claim, or what are they going to do? What if they waste it? What if they don't know how to take care of it? What I say is then just have it in their scholarship, have it be written. You have to take X amount of classes, like you have to take financial literacy courses as part of your curriculum. And then, like, let's say your grades slip off, let's say you failing or whatever the case may be, that's a financial penalty. That'll prepare you for the real world. If you don't meet deadlines in your job, you get taxed, you get penalized for it. So I'll just say, really use their college experience as a way of preparing them for the real world. That way they can at least leave feeling like they got something out of the experience.
You don't care about these people in that deep. That would be great, but at the same time, college is a business.
Thank you.
The sooner y'all realize that, I think it definitely gets you, but it's definitely a business. They don't really care that much.
They don't. We got your money. But all I'm saying is, well, if you invest in them just a little bit and don't be so rigid, you know, maybe you'll get more bang for your buck is all I'm saying. Just try to provide solutions, man. All right. Great
Coming
start.
with the fire.
Most definitely.
What did Kevin Hart say? Drop fire on you.
I'm fucking killing y'all, man. Drop fire.
We need a button.
We do. As that's coming up. All right. Now the next thing, sticking on the college thing. This is a big one. But people, young people especially, feeling like college isn't as valuable as it once was anymore. What do you think about that?
I actually think it's opposite.
Really?
College wasn't as important back then. Like there's a bunch of people that's Gen X. There's a bunch of people in Gen X who didn't have to have a degree to work their way up and get in the company. Whereas now, you dang near need a master's degree to get into like these, like if you, because think about this, there's more business administration or engineering degrees in this world, or RNs or doctors or whatever, than there are actual jobs for them. So say all of us have engineering degrees and business degrees and no experience. I can't give all y'all the job. Thank you. You did your job. So now what's going to separate you from this person? Experience. Now, when I have the interview, I'm going to ask you about the job. And if you have experience of, I used to work for this company, I used to do this, the same exact thing that you guys are doing, I'm going to come to this company and I'm going to bring a different angle to here. And that's what the hiring managers are looking for. Like, okay, this person knows what he's talking about. So now it's to the point where you need experience, bachelor's, and maybe an MBA to freaking go whatever. But I think back then you didn't really need as much. It didn't matter really where your school you went to. Now, if you go to A&M or Texas Tech or like a Duke or Hart, like if you go to those, like those type of schools, Syracuse, whatever, like you have you in programs, you're in like all these, what's the word I want to use? I don't know, let's just say programs. And like you have all these things that you have on your resume, like that helps you so much. Whereas back then, I know a lot of older folks who like, yeah, I got associates. I just worked my way up. I'm like, oh, you're an account manager and you got associates? Like that would never happen though.
God dang. I never heard it from that perspective before. Honestly, that was good though. Only thing, let me see if I could push back though. I say that what has happened is that trade and vocational school, the value of that has been diminished because people don't see blue collar as sexy. People don't see it as valuable anymore. So a lot less people are getting into those jobs. And instead, everybody wants to climb up either the medical or the corporate ladder in the corporate chain, or wants to get into that realm, right? And so then what it used to be also is that you get a bachelor's degree, you get a job. Now, if you get a bachelor's degree, that's almost like graduating second high school. So the only way to get a leg up is to either get an internship, like you talked about, have some type of tie to a frat or to a sorority, have some type of organization where your network is your net worth nowadays. It's what we always talk about, 100%. Right? That's number two. And then on top of that, then it's having the experience on top of the degree. So it's not, the degree isn't enough anymore. So you need to have something else. So I think that's where people are like, well, I thought once I had the degree, I was gonna get a job. It's like, nah, we need more. We need to see you have more worth, more value. And so people are like, well, how do I go about doing that? And is me paying for college, which used to be way less, is it still worth that investment of tuition anymore? Or should I do the JUCO route and then transfer the 2 years that the way, or maybe not,
This is a good discussion.
Or maybe not do college at all and just try to get in with an organization and build my resume through experience, and then maybe do college if it's required later.
Dang, that was great. That was a great take. That was amazing. I have so many things I could go off of that. Because I went the JUCO way and went to Blinn and then went to Tech.
Me too. I went Wharton and then went to U of H. So
exactly, like financially, yes, go that way. It depends on your counselors at university. I went from Blinn to there, and my counselors didn't know what the heck they was talking about. I started taking some classes I didn't need to take. So it depends who your counselors are.
That's a fact.
It's, to me, you're right. Like but I also think we live in a world where we only feel like we have like 5 states in the world from social media. Yes. Texas, Florida,
New York, Atlanta, Georgia,
California, and Nevada. And if I'm missing something,
Nah, you got it.
So to me, I come from Michigan. Trade school, we know that really well. We'll go get that really easy. We'll go, I think Minnesota, I think up north stuff, they're more in tune with that. Whereas like we forget the rest of the world. Whereas like we only think these are the states. I think the states that I mentioned, they're advanced. They're trying to be in social media. They're trying to do this. A lot of people are putting their organizations in these states. Like Amazon's moved over here to Texas. You still got stuff in California. Whereas like we forget about the other freaking 40 states. Whereas like it's like
it's the what's the word? The poppin' states, the tourist attraction states. Exactly. Those are the ones that get the most clout. But the northern blueprint, like you talked about up there, the Northwest and sort of the Bostons, the ruggedness, and then you have the southern hospitality, the blue collar southern states, the Mississippi, the Arkansas, the Alabamas. I'm sure that they take vocation.
They take those really. Like I think they still are blue collar. Like every time I go to Michigan, like a lot of people are trying to do things. They still value a blue collar man. Whereas like over here in Texas, I already told you there, you so bougie if you in Texas or Dallas. I mean Houston or Dallas or Austin. Like these people be one. Like you got to have we drive the Alpha Land. These people driving freaking Maseratis, the Mercedes is top notch. They got freaking Urises. Like
I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it
at all. But it's like when you go to Michigan, you ain't about to see no dang Urus driving nowhere. If you see it like a Rolls Royce or something, you probably thinking it's T Grizzly or something driving. Like you can really probably distinguish the people that does it. Like whereas in Houston, you don't know who is driving what. You don't know
what they do. You don't know what they do. You don't know how they got it.
That's why I say Texas is so advanced than Michigan. I don't speak on them. I'm only from there. But like those type of places, because like Houston in general, like I just see so many. It's motivating actually. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think we all lost the value of like blue collar people, but I think college is very valuable now that I'm out of it now, and I see some friends who are struggling without it, and I'm like, it could have helped them. It maybe not. It just depends on how their work ethic is. Like you got to just work a little bit harder if you don't go to college, which is fine. Or you got to go to social media route. Either you go social media route, real estate, or you try to figure it out, like be a project manager at like an apartment complex where you can get to the 60s, 70s. You could try to do something in that angle to kind of get that 60, 70. Because you can make 60 or 70 being a project manager, like around the apartment complex or doing something like that. Or I'm sure, I don't know if you need a degree to be like a manager at a apartment complex or like it, you can find a way. So there's ways, you just got to get around it.
There's other ways, obviously, and most definitely is just you might have to embrace the idea of delayed gratification just a little bit more if you decide to go those routes as opposed to going the college route where you have a degree and then you climb up the corporate chain. Either way, you're climbing up some ladder. Whatever what ladder you're choosing to climb is going to be a little steeper, or a little bit longer, a little bit taller. It just always depends on what route you're trying to take. What I say at the end of all of this is just understand, okay, what is the end destination I'm trying to reach? What is that going to look like? Where am I at now? And how do I get there? Once you figure that out, then it's just a matter of staying focused, staying locked in on getting to your end destination. Don't look at what the person to your left or the person to your right is doing, but stay locked in on your journey. You start getting distracted with other people, you're going to only hold yourself back. You're only going to stop climbing. You're only going to stop and say, dang, this is a long journey, rather than just saying, okay, one step, one day, one time, 1 year at a time. That's my whole thing.
That boy, we coming. We coming today.
All right, so moving on. The next thing we need to talk about, man. I said we was gonna stay away from the dating relationship stuff, but I lied. I ain't even gonna hold you.
My forte.
London, people need to heal.
Dr. L.
All right, so Dr. L, when you hear the words people need to heal, what does that say to you? What are you thinking?
Absolutely. If you don't, we're gonna have a bunch of these people doing what we're doing right now, hurting each other, not getting to the solutions that we need to get, and that's being married. Actually, I know a lot of people getting married though, so salute to all y'all getting married. I'm happy for y'all, but the people who aren't, you have to learn how to. And I had to learn this being in a 6-year relationship. You have to learn how to go sit down. Go learn yourself. It's okay to learn yourself. A lot of people hate being alone. I've noticed that. Me, I love being alone. That's the best time of the day for me. Is I don't want to see nobody. I want to hear nobody. Those are the times where you need about 6 I think you need about 4 to 6 hours a day alone to get your mind right. That could be 2-3 hours at the gym, the other 2 by yourself, the other 2 or 3 by yourself, and just sit there and you could be listening to music. You could be sitting on the couch. You could be watching TV. You could be cooking. You could be doing something, reading a book. You could do anything you want to do. But if you in like a toxic relationship, or you're in like a situation where it was so toxic to the point you lost yourself, don't go fill the void by, 1, having sex with a gang of people, 2, just going to talk to somebody because you can't get your mind off that person. That's not going to help. You're going to either hurt that person you're talking to, or you're going to just hurt yourself. So what I did was I sat down for I was talking to people, but I was telling them the truth. Like, I'm not ready. There was women coming to me saying I'm emotionally unavailable. So that's how you know I wasn't ready. So I had to sit down with myself and forgive myself for the things I've done, forgive my ex for the things that she done, and become a better man from it. And once I did that, I told myself, I'm okay. I'm ready now to go out there and see how these things are now, and see how women are. And don't be the guy to be like, oh, I know this, y'all gonna start fold. I started saying stuff like that. You're gonna fold on me. You're gonna give up on me. That's going into with a toxic like environment. And like Blake had to teach me about that. Like, stop stepping on your toes. Like, you're saying things to already make the woman be like, oh, this dude's still not healed. So I gave everybody a clean shot. I opened my heart again. And I just listen. Not saying I'm gonna be with them, but I'm listening. I'm seeing if you're good for me, if I'm good for you. And if it's not, I'm sorry we waste each other's time. I hope you don't see it as wasted time. I'm hoping you learn something from me, and you can take it and try to go to the next thing. But I'm not always, the one thing I did learn was from healing was never lie. So that's why I say, man, you got to heal yourself before you go to the next person, man. Because if not, you're going to just be in a domino effect and never find nobody. Bars.
God dang, great initial diagnosis from Dr. L, y'all. But I want you to prescribe us a little bit of medicine after I give you this analysis, though. First and foremost, my first question is, were you always someone who needed your own kind of time? Like, did you always feel comfortable in your skin, or did that take you having to develop that ability? And if it is the latter, what did you do to develop that skill?
I've always been like that. Maybe I'm my father's child. I don't know, because he's like that. So like my dad always had even as a kid, like he said, I never had a problem with going to sleep. Like a lot of kids want to stay up and whatever. Like he's like, my dad used to always tell me, he's like, I'm bored. He like, didn't go to sleep. So like I grew up just, you should never be bored. If you're bored, go read a book, go to sleep, go do something. But I'm never gonna need nobody to some people need to be around people to like have fun. Yeah. I have fun being alone. I will go to sleep and sleep for 2 to 3 hours and wake up and forget that I was bored. So therefore, I've learned this at an early age. And I know the people who haven't, I want to speak for people, not just me, the people who haven't learned that it's a skill. Yeah. My ex, if y'all ever talk to her, she'll tell you that I told her, you got to learn how to be happy with yourself. You got to learn how to be friends by yourself, because there's some fake people out here. And it's at the end of the day, you only got yourself and the people is in your circle. And sometimes your people in your circle busy. We all getting old now, getting married. Your friends can't always be there. They married, they got a wife. They can't always just be leaving. So if you're single, you got to learn how to sit down with yourself, watch TV, figure something out, figure something that you have to do by yourself. And I guarantee you'll be happy. And then once you figure that out, you can have somebody you be like, okay, now I'm bored now. Now I know how to be happy with myself. I want to be bored with my girl. And that's how you develop that, or my guy. I want to be bored with you now. I don't want to be bored by myself no more. I want to be bored with you. We can just be sitting at the house, eating, chilling, go bowling, go watch a movie, go do something creative, go paint. I'm at that point now, I go paint and get drunk. I don't want to do it, but maybe the girl that I'm with might want to do it. If that's the case, I'll go do it. And if I'm just I don't know, y'all. I'm speaking bars right now. I don't know, but I think I'm coming with something. But I just think you got to do those proper steps to get the person you want. Don't just settle for something. It's a long process, man. Being in a relationship is hard, man. Y'all can't just be saying I want you in this just because you look good or you got some nice features. I need you to be able to present a lot of things for me to be able to sit down and love you because I got to be with you for 40 to 50 years. Y'all got to think, y'all can't just think about you look good now. Can you be with that person for 50 years? And that's the same person. And you just like, I love this person so much every day for 360. How many days is that? 365 days times that by 50. I'm gonna do the math for y'all. Y'all gonna have to wait because this is about to be the bars. Times that by 50. That's 17,820 days. Know how many days that is? So you got to really love somebody and get to know that person. Bars, I'm done. I don't got nothing to say. Drop the mic. Shot fire on these boys.
Round of applause for Dr. London Ogletree. Man.
It was a rant, but I did it.
Nah, well executed, well said. And I mean, shoot, all facts, my brother. I mean, in the end, like you said, it all people needing to heal comes from, first off, just acknowledging, well, what's the issue? What am I missing? What is deficient in me? You have to take accountability. I've said that word numerous times in the past, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but I think first off, what you have to do is you have to remove the people who are the yes people, yes men, yes women, the people who tell you what you want to hear instead of telling you what you need to hear, telling you the truth. You mean? Then from there, you start to see, okay, all right, I have maybe this over dependence upon needing to be around people. Well, let me see how I am when I'm by myself. What is that like? What is that situation? What is that time like? Am I jittery? Do I have hyperactivity in my mind? Do I need to be doing something? I need to be eating something. And then from there, you can start to like channel, okay, well, I'm a person who thinks a lot. I have a hyperactive mind. Maybe I would like to play video games. Maybe I would like to read books. Maybe I would like to have something that's mentally stimulating. Or, maybe I get jittery. So maybe, having something where it's a hand activity. I like to draw, I like to paint, I like to write. Having something where it's just it's an activity that's already a part of who you are as a person, right? Once you do the initial work, or maybe it's just I have some things I never really was able to overcome. Maybe it's some trauma. Maybe it's a past relationship that wasn't so good. So I need to go to counseling. I need to go to therapy, group therapy, talking to people, but talking to people that aren't my direct friends, who don't have a skin in my outcome. It's people who are unbiased, who are going to tell me what I need to hear. You mean? So then you go to them and you start to hear from them. Okay, they give me this. Okay, I need to go work on these things. How do I work on these things? Well, I go read about it, go figure it out. Then you start to build that comfortability in your own skin. From there, building that comfortability in your own skin, you're securing yourself. And when you're securing yourself, you become a better bachelor. You become more attractive to the other people who you try to date. And then naturally, you start to attract people who are like that. If you see someone who maybe is insecure or is uncomfortable in your own skin, you can understand it because you were once that yourself. Once you understand that, you can know, okay, this person needs to heal a little bit more. I maybe can help them. If we decide to date, or maybe that's not the right person for me at this time. You know what I'm saying? You're able to make that decision for yourself at that moment, but it takes you being able to do the work. For me, after my first relationship, I had to realize, okay, Mike, you have to figure out how to be by yourself again, right? Okay, what are you gonna do? You better not sit in the house and sulk. I said, okay, I got into music, I got into lifting weights, I embraced my teammates, really thoroughly. I really wanted to get to know these guys. I'm like, I really didn't ever have that moment for them. So that was one thing. And then when I got older, it was like the pandemic was really good for me. That was when I really knew I could be comfortable myself, because I'm like, shit, this is great. I can figure out a whole bunch of shit to do. I was on YouTube. I'm like, okay, what skills can I adopt? I'm like, okay, you can start podcasting. Okay, this show is on. I started analyzing different shows. I start watching football. I start watching this. It's like, you just got to keep your mind active and try a lot of things. That's the thing. People don't have a broad enough scope as far as the opportunities that are present to them. You know what I mean? And so I think just being able to and be willing to try a bunch of things, try bowling, try hockey, try painting, try, whatever the case, man, just get out and try shit, man.
Pandemic, I tell everybody, the pandemic was one of the best times of my life. Financially,
Hey,
if you wasn't, I don't know why, but I got so financially stable with pandemic. Like, I figured out things I need to do. I got into the stock market. I did a lot of stuff that I needed to do, and I'm glad we had COVID. I mean, of course, I don't want nobody to die, but I mean,
right.
Like, of course, just on that aspect of, since it had to happen, then shoot, I had a great time.
use that opportunity to work on yourself, which is what people,
But
just
a
do.
lot of people was forced to learn themselves though, because you couldn't leave. Like if
Yeah,
you
but I mean, that's the thing. When you're forced to do something you don't want to do it, it takes you being willing and able-minded to be able to do it. I was like, okay, if there's anything that I feel like I'm deficient, like I'll keep it a stack. During the pandemic, one thing I needed to focus on or work on. This is part of the reason why this podcast exists, is because before then, I was told I was real shy and real like, introverted, to the point that people started associating me in a box of a certain type of a person. That person was a person who was, oh, you know what, Mike, you're big, you're kind of buff, and you don't talk a lot. You'd be a good security guard. You know what? You're gonna be my security guard, Mike. All right. Do you do security? Like, that was the thing I kept getting talked about over and over and over. I want you putting your life on the line for these. Anyway, besides the point. Then I get, Mike, are you a cop? Are you a this? Are you a that? Are you some type of violent figure that
I was
done?
gonna say blind side.
Yeah, it's a blind side or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, well, I don't want this narrative to be my character. So I'm like, Mike, you're gonna have to learn how to speak up. That's just, you're gonna have to learn to talk to people again. So this is why I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna do an activity where you're forced to get on camera and talk and ask questions and interact, whether you like it or not. And you're gonna post it for people to listen to it and possibly criticize you and whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is, me doing that, now me talking to people is nothing. I do it on a regular
Yeah, I
basis.
couldn't see you like that. Like me knowing you now, like you're really good at speaking, and you go up to like every time you go to the gym, you say what's up to everybody, and you keep it pushing. But I mean, you're not like like you can be an introvert because like we're similar in that way, but like you're not afraid to be like, oh, what's up to somebody or walking up to a girl or anything. Like you're kind of good at that. So
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It all just takes a little bit of work and a little bit
yeah,
of
me,
getting outside your comfort zone.
I ain't walking up to none of y'all girls. So don't think London gonna come over there to y'all. Cause
Dr. London's lying. I seen him in action. I seen him in real time.
literally know I already know those people if I'm talking to them. I would
No, no, no,
never.
no. Don't
He's
lie.
lying to y'all.
Don't lie. And
Literally, no, I
last week I
wouldn't.
told y'all, last week he told y'all I got him on the smell goods. Now he out in the club and he got them all flocking to him, man. I was like, my guy, my
First of
guy.
all, that girl came up to me at the club.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't do nothing. She came to me. See, I ain't coming up to y'all.
Okay. All right, mister. We'll leave that there. That's for another conversation.
I'm scary, y'all.
All right. Next point on the list is that we live in a cream world. When I say cream, cash rules everything around me. Shout out to Wu-Tang Clan. But that is the mindset that a lot of people have adopted in our current culture. Everything is about chasing the bag, having money. You talked about previously that we're going to have more millionaires going forward than ever before. And I agree with that. But is that also a bad thing in your opinion?
Never. I don't think it's
Well,
ever.
here's the thing, especially when you have young millionaires, young people generally have not gone through enough life experience to where they're able to manage money in a responsible way. It's not like a lot of these kids are worried about having financial advisors and then having a long-term mindset. They're about having the clout and having the sensationalism now. So that's what I mean in terms of, is it necessarily a good thing? Or is this a person who has money but then has no depth to the personality? The money is who they are. And so then let's say that they don't have it one day. Let's say another influencer pops off and then maybe their niche isn't as popping anymore. They waste all their money. But then what are you gonna do now? That's what I'm talking about.
I would say people chase clout more than money, which is sad.
Ooh, I agree with that. But
I mean,
I agree with that. But dang.
I think people care about being seen more than being rich. Sounds crazy to me, but I wouldn't do it. But I think for me, I think it's good they chase the bag and this and this. Like I think even older people chase the bag and have that mind. I think you have to have that mindset. I don't think it's all about it doesn't make you happy, like having money. Like it shouldn't make you fully happy. It makes me fully happy, but that's just me. Like I know how to. I'm like 25 now, but I feel like I'm 48. I know how to handle my money. I'm very cheap. Like you guys, anybody I hang out with, like women or whatever, I'm not trying to spend nothing on nothing. Like I'm trying to not do nothing. Like they like, man, you want to go here? No. You want to go eat? No. I want to save anything I can save. So if I ever got rich, I'm never going to change that because I'm already stuck in my ways. Like, I don't want to go to Papa Do's. I don't want to go to dang Del Frisco's or
You
Steak
don't want to
Frites.
pay the full tab on the first
No,
date.
I don't. I want to go to Cheddar's. Take me to Chili's, 2 for $20. Outback is pushing it. It's like, bruh, y'all be wanting to go to these nasty places with all this caviar and stuff. So to me, I have that mindset of wanting to be so. I just love seeing my bank account grow. I'd be like, this is great. Just keep growing, and I don't ever want to spend it. So like when my thing is, once my bank account gets under a certain number, my whole mood changes. I'm like,
Yep.
I hate it. Like, this is pissing me off. So it's like, I think money does sometimes make me happy. I can speak for me. It makes me happy because I know money's not going to change who I am. It's only going to make me get into different doors and different angles where I want to help other people. I'm big on trying to help the world. So it's like, if I become a millionaire, I'm going to make the world a better place. So I think people in that mindset, if they have that in the modern times, they should keep that and keep going, and don't ever forget where you came from, because God would take that away quick and you be looking crazy. So you gotta know who you are. It goes to the person who you are. If you let money change you and you chasing the bag and that's good, and you make that change you, then that's not who you are. You don't deserve that money then. And
don't chase success for the money, chase the money for the success, and let the success drive you to be more influential and be an icon and to inspire people in different realms.
Exactly. And that's why I say people chase clout more than, like, I don't know what these brand deals pay you, but I don't think it's just crazy. Like, you look at these people and what they get sponsored by. I'm so happy for whoever sponsored and did this. But people think, say you have 80,000 followers.
Yep.
People look at them like they're millionaires now.
That's true.
80,000 followers are almost like you have $400,000 to $500,000 in your bank account. Whereas, like, at the same time, you have to know the difference between the two.
But don't you think we're only saying this because we don't have the 40 and 80,000 followers?
That's what they're gonna ask you. No, and if I did have 80,000 followers, it wouldn't be, in my opinion, it wouldn't be fair for me. And that's why I don't want to ever get famous. And I just want to be rich. I don't ever want to be famous because I know how I am at 1,700 followers. So I don't even want 80,000. I know how I am with 1,700. If I had 80,000 followers, it wouldn't be fair. So it's not me being cocky, it's me being just honest with y'all. Like, I'm just being real. Like, I would love to have 80,000 followers, but it's like, I just think some people who have 80,000 followers are assholes. Not all y'all, but
oh my gosh, you're so rude.
I'm just being honest. I mean, that's not everybody. I think people, like I told you in other episodes, like, I don't think nobody's ever been rude to me because I just have that demeanor about me. Like, you're not about to play with me. I'm gonna go upside your head if you have 5 or 10 million followers. But it's like, I just like everybody being nice and respectful. I love a respectful person. I love excuse me, yes sir, no sir. I love them people. I'm like, I tell somebody 5'2", my bad, big homie. I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes. But I don't like the dude that's that big thing. He just won't get smacked. Like, I don't like that. So everybody keep the good mindset, chase the bag, just don't overdo it. That's my whole point.
All right, facts. We'll leave it there. All right, last point is, me and you are both in the fitness industry as far as us and what we post on social media, kind of what our niche is, what we talk about. The current state of the fitness industry just on social media, as far as IG, as far as TikTok, and just in general. Is it overly saturated, or do you think it's at a turning point as far as, maybe the old wave, the CT Fletchers, Kali Muscles, Michael Hearns, those guys, maybe they're aging out and they're just newcomers taking over and being the new icons in the industry? What do you think?
If you see those like CT Fleshers and Simeon Pandas, you see them at like 8 million followers now. So they're like godfathers, I feel like, in all them people. But like
Mike Rashid too.
Yeah, Mike Rashid, like them, they already so high up that it's crazy. But like, when you have like the people that's like at 800,000, close to a mil, like 250 to 60,000 followers. There's a lot of 60,000 and 100,000 follower people now. I think it's very overly saturated. Like, Like it's to the point now, like I post, don't get me wrong, if y'all see my IG, like I post almost every day, but like I honestly do a lot of stuff for me. Like this podcast, I do this for me. I do my posting for me. And if I can help one person, that's fine with me. If I never got 80,000 followers, I'll still post that because I just like doing that for me.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people don't do it for them. Like I hear so many people talking about, oh, my stuff didn't get this many views, or like sometimes I get caught up in that, but like then I just calm down. I'm like, bro, who cares? Like at the end of the day, like I really don't care. Like I make great money in my career. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna have a house, I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna have a wife, I'm gonna have my homies, we're gonna go travel. Like that matters to me. But like if I can post something on IG and then sometimes get it monetized from it, yeah, sign me up. I'm just never closing my angles to money. Like I'm always trying to get money somehow. It's not like I'm just doing this so I can get attention. Like now, if it comes with attention, then that's on y'all. Y'all bit the bait, but I'm doing this for me. So I think it's definitely overly saturated. And I think a lot of people lost value of why people post, because I was talking to my homegirl about this actually before we started this.
Yeah.
She was like, a lot of girls have apps where they're like growing they can make their legs bigger, their butts bigger. They can do all this, make this seem more lean out. And it's kind of it's painting a like false picture to somebody who's following you. Mm-hmm. They're basically saying like, I'm trying to get like her. She don't even look like that. So it's like, is it a point like, why are we lying to people so we can get clout or followers? And it's like that person that's looking at you is never going to reach that because you're lying to yourself. Like once you're lying to yourself, then are you really happy? So I don't know, that's how I feel about it. So I'm done ranting about this, y'all. I'm happy today. It's a happy week for me, but I do think it's overly saturated and we got to figure it out.
That boy London gave the family a kick in the ass, but hey.
Yeah, I agree. I can't always just be happy. I got to tell y'all about yourself. I've never been that guy to just to be like, yeah, you like Obi say, I can't be that friend who just tell you when you need to tell you everything right. I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong. So if you don't like it, then don't talk to me.
Every now and again, you gotta drop a little bit of pepper soup. And just a little bit.
Pepe soup. What is that?
Pepe soup. It's a Nigerian thing. I don't want you to try it. That's not a dish.
So that's like the chitlins of our side.
But I mean, bottom line, that's what that's a slang or a term that, Nigerians use whenever it's like, we got to taste something that's going to taste sour. It's not going to taste so good.
I'm about to start saying that. You about to get some pepe soup.
You better get some pepe soup, or, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out Hafiz from my Nigerian brother. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's like, I mean, again, I post, we do this podcast. Like I always say, I do this podcast as a means of practicing public speaking to people, talking, conversating, really being able to stimulate my mind. Like my first season, that first year I was doing the pod, it was like, I was just me trying to learn. I mean, I scrapped it. It's still there, but it's like, that was just me kind of getting my feet wet and really trying to learn and take gems. And then it's like, now this all is a means to an end. This translates to other avenues, right? And people need stuff to do. They need to have something that drives them and motivates them. It's not just about work or having a meaningless life. It's like you need to have things that motivate you and that inspire you to be better and to push yourself further. It's like, it's your personal archive. Like when you look back, it's like, man, this was my mindset at 25. This is what I was thinking about. And then you look back at 30, 35, 40, and it's like how you change. You can see the evolution in real time, even on your IG, as far as like what you were posting then how that evolves, all of that, you can see evolution really, manifest and play out. That's what I look at my social media and all my platforms, really, truly.
Just get better. Like, it's funny. Like I never tell anybody this, like ever since we've been doing this, like, podcasts on like these like teams and like these little interactions online, like literally my like career, like, so if I'm talking to a KDM or like a CFO or like somebody who makes like really decision, I have our first introduction meeting like with slide decks and everything from here. I was like doing it the other day. I'm like, dude, bro, literally me having these every Thursday is making me better even talking to these grown-ups. Like, it's like, I don't do this for like, of course I want something to come out of this, but like, this is therapeutic. This makes me happy. I look forward to every Thursday. And when we can fit our hour and a half, 2 and talk about something, And like somebody came up, like Trey, Trey, he came up to you at the gym today. He told me like, bro, he's like, it's like I'm speaking. He was like going off what I said. He's like, we have similar thoughts of how he thought about stuff. If I can change one person's mind and I can just connect with somebody, I don't care about getting famous. Like that's never been me. So Bars.
All right. So let's wrap this up, man. Final thoughts. This is just the beginning of, brushing on a lot of different surfaces that we're going to get into. Obviously, like I said, this is an open platform where we could talk about any and everything. We talk about dating. We try to help men and women navigate that. But then we also try to really dissect culture and figure things out and really provide solutions. So just what has been your whole takeaway from the conversation this week? And, what are we leaving the people with to think on?
Honestly, we're just connecting with the people. I feel like the people who listen to this, hey, I appreciate y'all so much. If I can connect with you, I'm trying to, every week I'm getting better at this, where I can like not just give my opinion of it, and I can kind of give you a general level of like what maybe you guys are thinking. And like I said, eventually we're gonna bring you guys on and talk about your stuff, like women, men. I want to bring all y'all on here and kind of have a debate. And we see the vision of it. Like we're taking this slow. Like, of course, we want to do it right. We want to move correctly, not rush things. So it's a process. We coming. We're gonna have. I have so many women who want to come on here. So eventually we're gonna have a table. We're gonna have mics, and we're gonna have all y'all out here, and we're gonna have everything y'all been asking me in the background. Y'all gonna have y'all a chance to say it on this goddamn camera. Man, you're gonna have everything to say your side, and we're gonna blow up. I don't know when, but when it happens, thank the people who started from the bottom, man. I appreciate y'all.
Most definitely. Can't ever replace the value that you guys have brought to us. Most definitely, we love y'all. And we're going to keep on pushing the message forward, and we're going to keep on doing this for the culture. You feel me? But that's this. I'll wrap up this week's episode. Once again, you can follow me at ob.mike56 on IG. Leave us a 5-star rating on all your listening platforms. Subscribe to us. Get all the gems whenever they get dropped. London, plug your Instagram, man.
My Instagram is London_Ogletree. I'm probably sure y'all know how to spell Ogletree, OGLETREE. Man, y'all follow me and Obi, man. Y'all give us some love. We trying to just help the world. We ain't trying to be one of these other podcasts who just trying to be assholes. We just trying to really give knowledge. This is like a educational podcast on top of how can we just better the world. That's it.
Most def. Well, we'll catch y'all boys and girls next week. We out.
Feet on the ground with a prove you wrong mindset. I'd rather go out on my sword than have my mind tapped. The ones with eyes can never see, I make the blind clap. I'm bringing back that type of sound that wants divine rap, homie.